Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Football Heritage TV. It is match day and it is absolutely disgusting outside. Can't walk the dogs, won't even go outside in the garden. It's a horrible day. Normally, if I do that, loads of light comes shining in, but it is torrential rain. God knows what it's like up there in Newcastle. Maybe I'm being too stereotypical, but is there going to be a lot of rain in Newcastle? Sorry, my microphone just dropped there. I don't know what happened. Why is this happening? Come on, microphone. Stop doing this. Why are you doing that? Hang on. What's going on? Okay, hopefully you can hear me. I don't know what happened there. It just suddenly went like that. Listen, horrible day, but we are playing. We are playing. So what is going to happen tonight? Lots of people already. I'm seeing the pressure's piling on. We must win. We must beat Newcastle. It's such an easy game away at Newcastle. We must beat them. Says the silly fans. Says the silly fans. By the way, let's do some admin. Smash the like button as you come in. Subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, if you do want to buy me a coffee, the link is pinned. If you don't, then don't. It's that simple. And it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So I'm gonna ask this. I'm going to ask this. Newcastle away. I mean, it's a tough game. I can't remember the last time we went there and did anything. Tough game. A good team, a strong team, lots of power through the centre halves, through the centre mids, up top. They've got power. And this is going to make for a very, very interesting game. I'm not sure what to expect team-wise. I know that now the injuries are piling up, aren't they? The injuries are piling up, and you've just got to try and battle through them. You've got to get through as best as possible. But we heard this morning that Archie Gray, depending on the report you believe, that he's going to be out for either between 4 and 8 weeks. I believe it, from what I'm hearing, it's closer to the 4-week mark than it is the 8-week mark. Archie Gray, another injury. Basuma out injured already. Kulu, Madison, Solanke. Mwani's just coming back to fitness now. You've got Dragosin, Takai, Destiny Adogi, Christian Romero, Ben Davis. So he's going to have to work with what he's got. This is what managers have to do. They have to work with what they've got. But what you would say is a lot of games coming up. There's a lot of games coming up, aren't there? Very, very, very soon as well. You think in the last week, Spurs have played Villa, Monaco, Everton. Now tonight we go to Newcastle. Saturday against Chelsea. Then next Tuesday, Wednesday, we played Copenhagen, followed by Man United. Just games rattling off. And right now we're there, aren't we? We're in. We haven't lost in the Champions League. We've not lost in the Carabao Cup. We have also we're also top 3 in the Premier League. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job with what he's got. But surely we can't lose any more. This is starting to be like last year's injury crisis, just without the defeat every week to go with it. But Newcastle United away. Who knows what to expect? I'm just going to check the odds. I'm just going to see what the odds are. I've got people saying Spurs are the favourites. I genuinely can't see that we're favourites at Newcastle. We are absolutely not the favourites at Newcastle. Let me show you how far off being favourites we are. If anyone can see that, right? Newcastle United, 1.70, 1.73, 1.75, right? Spurs, you can't get any bookmaker willing to take us under 4-1. Right? None of the bookmakers are showing. And let me just check. Is anyone got us? Not one of the bookmakers. Bet365 have got us at nearly 5-1 to win the game. BetMGM 4.6, Betfred 4.6. Betway is the cheapest you can get Tottenham at 4-1. 4-1. The bookies have kind of made their minds up on what is going to be what? Sorry, something was biting and I realized it was Stanley. What is going to be a tough game? I've said I think this might be one step too far. That doesn't mean I'm saying we can't win. Doesn't mean I don't want us to win. I see some crazy comments come around, but I feel like this might be a little bit too far. We've not lost away. If you look at the 5 away games in a Premier League, we've not lost. We've not lost away in the Champions League. We didn't lose in the Super Cup away either. This, for me, is going to be the toughest of all of them because Newcastle United just have this thing, don't they, under the lights. Now, when you look at Newcastle United, they've lost a few home games recently. However, if you actually look at that stat of who they've lost against, I believe that the 3 they've lost are Arsenal, Liverpool, and Barcelona, if I'm not wrong. So not many teams that aren't brilliant go to Newcastle and pick up results. I think this would be an amazing result. So to even get a draw at Newcastle, I think would be an amazing result. I really do. People will call me negative, but I just think this is a tough game. I really think this is a tough game. By the way, big up to my man, Smokey Boy. Very generous, who has just bought me a coffee. Thank you very much, Smokey Boy. And he's just put in a message that said, like to buy you a coffee, bud. Listen, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate that, Smokey Boy. I am working on, I'm going to get my OBS sorted in the next month. Next couple of weeks, hopefully. I'll probably do it over the international break, get my OBS sorted. And then what we'll actually be able to have is a different, obviously, the screen will look a lot more user-friendly than this. All of the super chats will come up on the screen automatically. So will the memberships, so will the buy me a coffees, etc., etc. So look, thank you very much, Smokey Boy. Really appreciate you. Yeah, it's tough, right? Let's call it for what it is. If you're a Newcastle fan, I think I've seen a couple in the chat. Let me know, how are you feeling? What team are Newcastle going to play? You're in the same position as us. Champions League, Premier League, League Cup, Champions League, Premier League, League Cup. But you are at home. And I don't know what I'm not a Newcastle fan. I don't know if Eddie Howe's going to rotate players. I don't know if he's going to put the full strength team out. Do Tottenham have a full strength 11 at the moment? It's a lot of injuries going in there. With Archie Gray injured, it kind of gives us the answer to what is the back 4 going to be, right? I think there's an argument, isn't there? Maybe Kinski starts today in front of Vicario. I don't know. There's an argument for that. Other than that, the back 4, I can't see who else can play. I genuinely can't see who's going to play. You've got Danso, Van der Ven, and Spence. I don't think anyone else is fit. I think the only other defender that's fit is 16-year-old Byfield. I can't see Byfield getting a start away at Newcastle. So I can't see any other midfield. Any other defense, sorry. I think it's pretty much... I'll tell you what, let's bring this up, shall we? Let's do this. I think it's going to be... Let's have a look. Here we go. So, ignore this for the moment. So, we know that Gray won't play. I think this will be Paulinho. I think you might see this. I think we might see that tonight. Don't know about the goalkeeper, but I think we might see this. Which would mean no Bentancur, no Kudus, no Simmons, and no Kolo Muani. But I don't know. Maybe, listen, the questions, I don't, guys, I'm just a Spurs fan, just chewing the fat. That's all we're doing. We're just chewing the fat. It's going to be tough. That midfield area is going to be tough. Lots of people constantly ask for Sarr and Bergvall. Let's see if they play tonight. I've got a feeling we might see both. I think Paulinho or Bentancur needs to play for that bit of protection. I don't trust Sarr and Bergvall alone for that protection. The injury to Archie Gray might have changed the lineup for tonight. But then are we saying that Bentancur and Paulinho, can they play Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday? Just questions. I don't know. You're asking a lot. It's going to be tough. Now, I could be completely wrong here. We might see this. We might see Xavi Simons, right? We might see... Oh, no, that didn't work. We might see Kudus. And we might see Kalamawani. We might. I don't know. I just don't know. There's a lot of games in very quick succession. I'm just not sure. Who's... Listen, I think the one thing that I don't think we take into account enough as football fans is, do we know how fit certain players are? So when we go, just keep playing them. For example, Paulinho, let's just use him as an example. We all know that you start Paulinho, come rain nor shine. You start Paulinho when everyone's fit. I don't know is he fit enough to play 3 games in a row? Does he need a rest? Does he need a couple of games? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Fatigue, absolutely. Do you know what? You took the words out of my mouth. I just seen that comment come in. Yeah, fatigue and injury. They are. I wasn't going to say they're real, but yes, I was going to say fatigue and injury happen. Yeah, fatigue and injury, they do exist. So this is going to be really, really interesting. Would Archie Gray have played? Maybe, probably would have played. Now we know he can't play. Now we've got not many options. He might have to just go with his best. But does he keep playing Xavi Simons? Does he drop down to the bench? Does Sarr play in midfield? Does Bergvall play in midfield? Does he go without the number 10? Does Kudus play? Does Kudus need a rest? I don't know. I think there'll be changes. I think you've got to make some, right? You can't keep playing everyone every minute of every game. You can't. So I think he knows that. Maybe does he start with Paulinho and Bentancur, and then they come off after? I don't know. All I know is best 11 or not, and we know our best 11 is nowhere near available right now at Tottenham. But best 11 or not, we know that this is a tough game. This is Newcastle United away, under the lights, St. James's Park. Me personally, and this is only me, so please don't shoot the messenger. I just think that it might be a step too far. I'm just checking what channel we're on, by the way, as well. I think this might be a step too far. Does anyone agree with me? Or maybe I'm being negative. I don't know. Does anyone agree with me? This might just be a little bit too far. Look, I'd love to win the Carabao Cup. I love winning trophies. I'd love to win it. But if we do go out, I don't think it's the end of the world. I know some people will think it's the end of the world, but this, as I said, this is a really tough game. I'm seeing so many people saying, oh, honestly, the last 24 hours, you guys know I talk about this a lot. This microphone, it's just a normal Shure microphone. That's the brand, right? It's just a normal Shure microphone. I've been convinced for years that sometimes the things I say in here aren't what then goes through the internet and into your speakers. I've had loads of people saying, I can't believe what you're saying, and you don't want to win a trophy. Sorry, when did I say I don't want to win a trophy? Can't believe you'd rotate for this game. I'm like, well, I don't think it's about me wanting to rotate. I think at some point, players need rest, and at some point, squad players need games. It's that kind of balance, isn't it? And injuries occur and all of these different things. So not once, just for the record, not once have I ever said that we can't win tonight or that we won't win. I think it may be a step too far. but at no point have I ever said I don't want to win trophies. But I feel like because of the Europa League win now, we feel like every cup we're going to go into, we're going to win. And that's a lovely mindset, but I just don't think it's necessarily truthful. I don't think it's how the world works. Man City don't win every trophy they're going for. Liverpool don't. Arsenal don't. Chelsea don't. Newcastle, Man United, everyone doesn't. So it's going to be a very interesting match day at Newcastle. They've got, for me, what they've got is they've got more in attack, which isn't difficult for me. But they've got a lot more in attack than us. When you look at Voltemada, I think he's a really good striker, by the way. I think he would have been absolutely perfect for Tottenham Hotspur, a player like that. But what did our fans do? Our fans did God, look how much they've spent. Is he worth that? Scores goals, holds the ball up, good in the air. For me, this is the sort of player we should have been looking at. Anyway, when you look at him and then you look at Gordon, you look at Barnes, you look at Alanga, you look at Murphy, then you've got the players coming from midfield like Tonali and Gomares, then you've got Asula. I just think at home this might be one step too far. And by the way, Pedro, I feel like I think he's got to. I don't know if he's got anyone else fit. I did see today that we've got 15 first team players fit. I don't know how true that is. I'm trying to work it out. I do think we've got more than that. Not many more, but I do think we've got a few more than that. But I do think that you will see the likes of Williams, Barnett, on the bench. I think you'll probably see Byfield will definitely have to be on the bench. We've got no defenders. So Byfield will definitely have to be on the bench, in my opinion. But look, it's this is what football throws at you. We're not going to cry over spilt milk. Players get injured. You dust yourself off. You go with it, and you give your best. If you don't win, you don't win. If you do, you do. But you give your best. You try. And listen, I think we've got to remember that this is sandwiched in between two very important league games. Same for Newcastle. But if I'm not wrong, I believe that Newcastle United have West Ham away. I want to say at the weekend. West Ham away. Any Newcastle fans in the chat? I think you've seen that. Yeah, Newcastle West Ham at the weekend. So that's going to be interesting. I don't really do the whole they've had a day more rest than us. That's how the cookie crumbles, right? That's how the cookie crumbles. It is what it is. If you play on the Saturday or Sunday and then again on the Wednesday, the pros are used to it. Yeah. The pros are used to it. So Newcastle have had one more day's rest. Okay, cool. Well, we knew that before the weekend, right? So we would have been prepared for this. Hence why you might see a few changes. So it is what it is. What I do find interesting is I wonder if all the people that are saying just put out your strongest team tonight. By the way, I don't even know what the strongest team is, but just put out your strongest team tonight. I wonder if it doesn't go well against Chelsea, people will still say the same thing. It's a lot of games. And as I've said before, we're not just going to rattle off win after win after win after win. You're not. And I think that this might be one that is just a step too far. So that's only me. I don't think it'll be bad. I don't think it will get battered, but I do think this could be one step too far. I think if we draw and get this to penalties, I think that's been a bloody good result. If you go out on penalties, I mean, it's penalties, isn't it? What do you do? If you go out on penalties, you go out on penalties. Who knows? Maybe we go there and we're 2-0 up after. Who knows? I don't know. Let's see. The difficulty with predicting games like this is we don't know the lineups. For example, we could go tonight and you might see Newcastle have made 8 changes. I don't think they will, but they might do. Spurs could go full strength. Newcastle might not. Newcastle might go full strength. Spurs might not. It's very difficult, isn't it? I can't really give a score prediction not knowing the team news. So listen, once the team news comes out tonight at about 6:30, 6:45, we'll probably have more of an indication as to the way that the game is going to go, the way that the game is going to flow. Sorry to not a poet at all. I think that a lot's going to depend on what they do. If they put out a midfield three of Joe Linton, Guimaraes and Tonali, I think they're going to win the game. I think that's a powerful midfield. Again, if they put out Gordon, Voltemade, and Barnes or Elanga, again, but maybe they might not. Maybe they might not. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we go Paulinho, Bentancur, Kudus, Simmons, Muani, Oda. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, isn't it, with Kolo Muani, if we move to him. It's a difficult one. We know, don't we, that hang on, what's this? Sorry, Stanley, 1 second. What's that? Yeah, okay, don't know what that was. We know, don't we? That Kolo Muani struggled to get fit this season, and he played 60 minutes. To be fair, before the game, I think a few of us were talking about, weren't we, that it's going to be 45, 55, 60 minutes maximum. He got 60 minutes out of him, which was really good. Is he ready? Is he ready to play another game tonight? I don't know. I'm literally surmising. It's a big ask. Is he ready to go again tonight? Is he ready then to go again on Chelsea? Is he going to suddenly go from no starts to 3 starts in a week? I'm not sure. I feel like he might come off the bench tonight. What I do know is if we do go with Tell and Odegaard and Johnson, I think that it's one of the weakest forward lines I've ever seen at Tottenham, and we might struggle. However, if Muani's not fit and Kudus needs a rest, what do you do? These are the dilemmas of a Premier League manager that is paid handsomely to make these decisions, and we just got to hope that that we come through whatever happens. Yeah, but Martin, it's about right. You Spur, just quickly stop. You Spur, stop all this. I don't do all this. I'm not in school. I don't just do this. Just be positive. No, I'm just having a normal chat. Not said anything negative or positive. I'm just talking about the game. I know you're at school. I'm not. I don't just sit there and go, if we all cross our fingers and pray. Listen, I'm just talking in general about the fitness of the players, those that need to be rotated, how tough the game is. YouTube doesn't have to be dramatic, you Spurs. It doesn't always have to be negative or positive. We can just have a chat. All right. Just getting a little bit bored of people that constantly say the same thing in my comments. All right. I'm just getting a little bit bored of it. It's going to be interesting. Newcastle have been better in cup competitions this year than they have in the Premier League, but slowly but surely you can see they're not losing many games and starting to go up the table. You would think that they would go strong. You would think they would go strong tonight because they're the reigning champions. You would think they are the reigning champions. Again, I don't know, guys. In the second half of the show, I'm going to talk about. I've seen the links to Greenwood. I've seen that we've got links to McTominay. It's all about to get silly, isn't it? As the transfer window approaches in 63 or 4 days, we all know that we're going to be linked with absolutely everyone. So we will talk about that in a minute. But we'll just round off the Newcastle game first and foremost. So I'll ask you right now. I know it's difficult because we don't know the teams. What do you think the score might be for tonight? What do you think the score might be? This year, I've been terrible with my score predictions. Some of the games I thought we'll lose, we've won. Some of the games I thought we'd win, we've drawn or lost. That's the life of a predicting football fan, right? But right now, what would you say is going to be the score tonight? One thing I hope I hope that there isn't a meltdown if we don't win. I really hope that, because I'm sure some of you saw yesterday, I did a video called The Era of Now, Now, Now. And it was all about how football fans are just ridiculous now. It's just so hyperbolic. And every time a team loses, there's a meltdown. Now, it never used to be that. And big up to my man in the chat who never writes or calls anymore, but big up to my man, Jose. How you doing, bro? Hope you're well. Please get over to LTEL Cockerel and subscribe to his channel as well. But Jose, you'll tell me, being somebody of my age and above, it never used to be like this, did it? It wasn't every time a team lost a game, there was a meltdown or a drama. It wasn't hyperbolic. Now in this era, there's just too much of it. It's, oh my God, Spurs have gone out to Newcastle. Get him out. Told you he's not a winner. Get him out. He's terrible. If he wins, he's amazing. It's just all a bit hyperbolic. So I'm hoping that everybody doesn't lose their mind if we don't go through. Hopefully we go through, but please don't lose your minds if we do go through. It's getting hard work supporting football teams these days. Unfortunately, this is true. And unfortunately, this is true. Absolutely this. In the good old days, you're in the pub or whatever, and you have the chat, and you're like, oh, that was shit today, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, well, he made that wrong, didn't he? Yeah. Right. Well, who we got on the weekend? Well, we've got Chelsea at home. Right. Move on. Nowadays, it's very much lose the game. I told you he's not a winner. Never won it. He's not a winner. Get him out. And I'm calling it now. Clip this. If we lose tonight, that'll be the first thing that not very intelligent people will say. Not that we played a tough Newcastle United away, but he's not a winner. He's going to get that every time we don't win a competition, even though we've won one of like the last however many competitions. So I think we need to be sensible. I know I'm almost pissing in the wind here, aren't I? I think we need to be sensible with tonight's game. I think we need to realize that we are starting to get a very thin squad. A lot of injuries, a lot of games coming up. And listen, I don't use injuries as an excuse for losing every week. What I do use injuries for is you've got to be careful of the next game coming up. What are you going to do? Now that doesn't mean you change the whole team, but does that mean that you make 2 or 3? For example, players like Paulinho and Kudus, who have been our best players. What do? Do you play them tonight, knowing that they might need a rest? By the way, I'm hypothetical. I don't know. Right? Do you give them a rest tonight, knowing that they need one, or do you play them through and then go again from when this game finishes, if I'm not wrong, it's less than 72 hours until the next game. It's less than 72 hours. It'll be like 67 hours between the game ending at Newcastle and the game starting against Chelsea. So I think tonight, what you're probably going to see is a lot of Newcastle possession. Right? You're going to see Newcastle dominate. Now, we know we're bloody good at the back, but this is a big pitch at Newcastle. It's going to be some tired legs. We're going to see. We're really going to see, aren't we? So if you haven't put in your score, before we move on to the next subject, please put your score prediction in there. And thank you very much. Very generous to the Aussie Frank Lover who's put in a super sticker. Thank you very much, Aussie Frank Lover. Really, really do appreciate you. And thank you. We've had 2 new subscribers throughout the show. So thank you very much. Really, really do appreciate you. So no, I'm not even talking about this. I'm talking about in general. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about in general. You got a lot of people that just get very, very giddy. Win or lose, they get very giddy. Very giddy. I mean, look at the meltdown when we lost on penalties to Paris Saint-Germain. It was quite something to watch. But before the game, everyone's going, God, PSG are going to batter us 5-0. We get a really put in a top performance and go out lose on penalties. And it was just amazing that it was, see, he's not a winner. Just played PSG. So, I don't know. I feel like more and more in this fan base, I just have to laugh. And I do look at people and think you're an idiot. I do. I can't help it. I look at a lot of people in my chat and just go, what are you doing? So many of you are lovely and so many of you are sensible. But unfortunately, it is what it is. You know, when we were having this discussion the other day on the Spurs 5, it was very interesting reading the comments in the chat about prioritization. And whilst I don't think you turn around and go, right, forget the Carabao Cup completely. It's funny that lots of people are very much complaining about our home form. But when you say, okay, right, well, do you rest Kudus, Paulinho, and keep these boys fresh for Chelsea to really turn around that home form? People go, no. What, you don't want a trophy? Okay, yeah, but you just moaned over there about the home form. Now you want to prioritize this game because it's a cup. Like, what do you want? Do you want more money to buy players? I don't know. All of these different things that go into the melting pot and we discuss. But it's always been an interesting conversation, isn't it? Top 4. I think it's top 5 now, isn't it, with the coefficient points? But it's always been an interesting conversation of top 4 versus trophy. And I'm someone that's never leaned to one way. I don't feel it ever should be top 4 or a trophy. I do think, though, that there are things that affect whether you can do both. And I do think that winning or achieving one outcome doesn't necessarily mean the other outcome can't be achieved. And that's where I think 90% of football fans talk, is that if you do this, you can't possibly do this. If you do this, you can't possibly do this. And, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Is this interactive stream or are you giving an opinion video? I get confused. Start writing comments on those. I'm live. You can see I'm live. Look, it says live in the top corner. It says I'm live in the top corner. I am live right now. Paul, reading out your comment. I am live. Look, I'm about to pick up a water. Look, couldn't have done that if it was pre-recorded. So, yeah, I always find it interesting. I found this interesting for 20 odd years. Yeah, Paul, you're not old. Paul, you're not. We're all old. Look at the liners on my head. Look at the line on my head. I'm old. Yeah, I really do find it an interesting conversation. And I think as I've got older, my appreciation for what does finishing top 4 mean for the football club? Well, we know it means more revenue. And the accusation that's always been thrown at Spurs, and I am one of them that throws this accusation for sure, is very much, that's great. We get in the Champions League, we get the revenue, but then do we spend it? Like, do we spend it properly? I know we spend it, but do we spend it on top caliber footballers? And that is a very valid argument. But at the same time, you need as much revenue coming into the club to be able to pay the big wages, to be able to pay for players, to pay agent fees, to pay sign-on fees. So it's kind of like a devil in the deep blue sea, isn't it, kind of moment. So this is why when people say, like I've had people say to me this year already, like, oh, I'd happily finish 17th again and win the FA Cup. And I'm like, would you? Would you really? Yeah, because you got a trophy. Okay. But then in the summer, when you're trying to buy footballers, where's this revenue coming from? You know, like, where's the revenue? Where's the attraction, by the way, if you're not in the Champions League? The revenue, all of these different things. So I think it's a really interesting one. You know, I mean, I wouldn't want 2 seasons in a row where I finish 17th. That's definitely not what I want. So I don't know what you guys think about it. It's always an interesting one. I don't think there's a right or wrong. Listen, I don't expect Spurs to win a trophy every year and finish top 4 every year. I just don't think that we're that club at the moment. I don't. It's not that I don't think. We've never been that club. We've never been that club that wins a trophy and finishes top 4 every season. I don't think we've ever done it. So I think we have to be very, very conscientious of, yeah, we want to be high up in the league. We also want to try and nick some trophies if we can. But we're not the only club saying it, right? Right now, we're going, oh, we must win a trophy this year. Chelsea will be saying, must win a trophy this year. Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Man United, Newcastle, Villa, all of these clubs, we must win, we must win, we must win a trophy this year. So I think it's an interesting discussion point. It's an interesting conversation to have. And this was only because the other day in the comment section of the Spurs 5, there were a lot of people saying, don't mind losing to Chelsea if it means winning tonight. And I'm like, I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure. I feel like the Chelsea game is important. I think like the Chelsea game is an important one. Elijah, see, and this is it. Big up to my man E. If you haven't got over and subscribed to Too Much of E, please do. Really appreciate that. I think this is a really interesting point, Elijah. I don't think there's a right or wrong. You know, saying this might be a hot take, but I wouldn't be upset if we pick a weaker side and lose. Too many injuries at this point and too many fixtures. I think there's a lot that needs to be taken into account, right? You're right. Lots of fixtures. By the way, lots of tough fixtures coming up. You think Villa, Monaco, Everton, Chelsea, Newcastle, Man United in a row. That is a tough fixture list. Now, injuries, E, you'll know from watching me, my man. You'll know from watching me that I'm not somebody, I don't like to use injuries as an excuse for tumbling down the table. So when we were finishing 17th and people went, oh, players were injured. Yeah, players are injured, but that doesn't mean you should fall off a cliff. However, injuries do add up, and that is going to affect, right, what is the manager going to do? But I think the injuries are a lot of the reason why the managers made us very difficult to beat, made it very pragmatic, because don't lose, stay in there, stay in the hunt. Stay in the hunt for that top 4 or 5 so that when the players come back, the Koglous, the Romeros, the Udogis, the Dragic, when you get your players back and fit and Solanke and you've got options, now you're in a strong position to attack the second half of the season. And I don't think we think about that enough as fans. I think we're so in our emotions that we don't really think about these other scenarios that are going on. And this is the difference. Thomas Frank, the directors, the coaches, they have to think about every scenario, don't they? They have to think about every scenario. So yeah, interesting. I agree and disagree with his statement. The problem is when we talk about players stepping up, they have to have the ability to step up. And this is the problem. When you've got players coming in like Johnson, let's say Johnson, Tell and Odegaard as your front three tonight. That's not a good front three. For me, I don't think it's about them stepping up. I don't think any of those 3 players have the ability to step up to the level of a Mawani, a Kudus, a Kulu, a Madison. That's the problem. When we talk about this, it's a nice sentence to say, got to step up. Yeah, but you've got to have the ability to step up. It's like me saying, right, Paulinho's not playing today, but Tyrese Hall is. You've got to step up. Well, yeah, sure, but he's not that level, is he? So I think there's a yes and no for me. So a question, do you think our abject, I don't think we've had abject performances. I think we've had battling performances. I think that you play with the hand you've got, as my man Danny says. And unfortunately, at the moment, we've got a team that hasn't had free-flowing forwards and hasn't got ball-playing midfielders. So we are doing the best we can. You think about it, with the injuries we've got and the players he's had to select, we're 3rd in the league. What a good job he's done. What a tremendous job he's done. And yet our fan base, half our fan base in true in true Spurs fashion, just want to look at, but we're not entertained. So we'll see. A lot of injuries at a lot of clubs. Yeah, and we are in an era of injuries. God, it's still pissing down with rain. It's awful out there. A lot of injuries at a lot of clubs. I think we were top of the injury league table at the moment, which makes it even more miraculous that we are 3rd. And that's got to be the takeaway, right? I was told last year that when you have 10 injuries, that means you've got to lose week in, week out and be wide open. This manager is showing that you don't. But I'll go back to it for anyone that's just joined. I do think that this might just be one step too far tonight. So I'll be pleasantly surprised if we win tonight. Obviously want to win tonight. I'll be pleasantly surprised if we do. However, let's see what the team lineups are. I pick up to Rob Belcher. How you doing, Rob? Said for me, the Chelsea game is more important. Getting back on track with a win, with a home win and beating a local rival, Chelsea, is paramount. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? We've not been great at home, and we do need to address that. But it is Chelsea, and for some reason, listen, I'm not saying this is a wow, Chelsea are amazing. But they always seem to come to White Hart Lane, don't they, and pick up a result. So how do we change that? Well, I don't know. You want to be full strength, but then again, people want to go full strength. But for me, I think both games are important, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. At the moment, you've got so many injuries. I don't know if he's got options. At the moment, let's be brutally honest. We're sitting here talking about what's he going to do. I don't think really he's got many options. Who's fit who's fit at the moment? If you look at the bench from the weekend, right? Let's bring this up again. So let's say this team starts. Let's just say that team starts. I don't know if it will be. On the bench, you'll have Bentancur, Bergvall, Kinski, Johnson, Byfield, Richie, I'm struggling, right? By the way, that was 5 senior players and Byfield. And then I'm guessing Luca Williams-Barnett. I'm guessing, who's the young midfielder? Why do I always forget this guy's name? He's the captain. Ulasesi could make it 8. I don't think there are many options. We're going to have to go with what we've got and do. And we work with it, right? Scarlett. Yeah, Scarlett. So there aren't many options to rotate between now and Chelsea. So I do feel like whatever we see is going to be a mix and match. I think for me, I'll be honest, I would rather get the 3 points against Chelsea. At home, Premier League keeps you up there. This is going to be a tough game either way tonight. I think whether we play a full strength 11, which by the way, I don't even know what the full strength 11 is. I don't think we've got a good 11, to be honest. I think we've got a good 7 or 8. And then I think after that, we're scrapping around for numbers. Luca Williams-Barnett is travelling. Okay, so not Williams-Barnett. Brilliant. Oh, okay. Not until next week. Okay, so Luca Williams-Barnett on the bench. Byfield on the bench, Scarlett on the bench, Lasesi, maybe a third goalkeeper. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Did I say evening? I don't know. Oh, sorry. Did you say evening? Morning, Ben. How you doing, man? Hope you're well. Do you know what I'm going to do when I finish this stream? Because it's absolutely tipping it down out there and it's freezing. I am going to have one of those hot chocolates you gave me. Lovely. Oof, really good hot chocolate, that. Ed Emerson, Newcastle priority for me. You could rest a player and they get injured in training. Next game and who's available is what you have control over. Yeah, but maybe it's fatigue, Ed. When we're talking about resting players, maybe it's fatigue. I look at Kudus. Kudus for me very much looks like he needs a rest. Now, I'm not saying he will be rested, but is anyone watching Kudus right now and not thinking you need a rest? Is anyone really watching Bentancur and Paulinho and thinking they can play every 3 days? This is what we've got to think about. It's not always just about if they get injured. It's about if they play and they're only giving 70% because they've not got it in the locker. And this is why so many clubs invest now in sports science, psychology, because it's not just about if they get injured. And of course, players can get injured in training. That's one thing I always say as well, by the way. It's one thing I always say. You can rest a player, they get injured in training, and it is what it is. As I said, I don't think he's going to go fully fit tonight because I think these players have played a lot of football. These players have played a lot of football already. And, you know, look, I said in the summer, this is the problem, right? This is the problem. If you don't buy what you need, you can leave yourself short. Injuries don't help, but I don't like to use them as I don't like to use it as an excuse. I didn't want to use it as an excuse last year. As I said, when we lost every week last year, I just heard injuries. Listen, when you have injuries, you have to find a way to make yourself difficult to beat. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a believer that is what Frank is doing right now. He's not able to rotate any of the defenders at the moment. With Adogi. I mean, who's missing at the back? You've got Adogi, Takai, Davis, Dragusin, and Romero. So you've got 5 out there. You've now got Basuma and Gray missing from midfield. You've got Solanke, Kulusevski, and Maddison missing from the forward line. I mean, this is a lot of footballers that a lot of them probably would be playing in games like tonight. Let's be fair. Tonight, you'd love to be able to say, wouldn't you? Okay, right. Well, Simmons started in the week. Kulu's going to start tonight. Right, Kudus started in the week. Right, Maddison's going to start tonight. That's where you want to be at, and hopefully that's where we will be at when we get some players back fit. But right now, as I said, I'll use that as a byproduct to praise Frank. With all of the players we got missing, look how well we're doing. And I just don't think it's funny. When you're losing every week with injuries, it gets brought up. When you're not losing every week with injuries, it never gets mentioned. So we'll see. We'll see. George, I hope you live somewhere not in London, because right now in the UK, in London, it is pissing down. It is absolutely pissing down. Ruben has gone with Vicario, Danso, VDV, Porris, Spence. Yep, it's got to be that back 4. Paulinho, Sarr. Yep. Simmons, Kudus, Odegaard, Charlison. Could be. Yep. I'll be interested to see. Does Richie start tonight? I don't know. Look, Richarlison for me, if he starts or not, I think it's weak, right? What do you do? And again, I'm not going to listen. We want sensible chat at this channel, so can we not do this? Can we not do it? We don't want silly comments. Most of the players I just mentioned aren't trash. Adogi is our first team left back. Christian Romero is our captain and first team centre back. James Maddison is the best playmaker at the club. Kulusevski is a very good player. Dominic Solanke is arguably our best striker. So no. Most of the players I named aren't garbage. So can we not do that? I want to try and get this channel back to some sort of normality without silly people. That's where I'd love to be. James Maddison is a top footballer. Yes, had some injuries. We don't know what he'll come back like, but we also know he's a determined sod, isn't he? So we don't know. Look, please, I'll ask nicely, could you go and watch another channel? I don't want children in my chat. I really don't. If you're saying that Maddison, Kulu, Romero, Adogi are all poor footballers, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So listen, we'll see when we get to tonight. We'll see. Obviously, God, that was nearly words, wasn't it? Nearly words. We'll see tonight when the team is announced. No doubt, whatever he does, he's going to get slated. But right, I'm out. I'm outro. Right, you're getting in timeout. Thank you very much. As I said, moving forward, guys, I'm not going to do any silly things anymore. I'm not having silly people anymore. If I get silly people in the chat, you're just going to be removed. Please, just keep it sensible. I want to get my channel back to being me talking about football. No panel shows, just me talking about football, having a chat. I will interact. but I really don't want the silly people in the chat. So I will stop putting more people blocked, and kind of regretting the trolls, right? Kind of regretting not letting them in. So please, can we keep it sensible? YouTubers give all of you a platform to discuss football, right? I just think people should use it sensibly. That's all it is. I don't want to be one of those channels where every player's rubbish. I don't want to be one of those channels where every player's a flop because they haven't set the world alight in week 1. I don't want to be one of those channels that talks about cooking, and I find it very, very silly. I really do. Paul said panel shows are getting boring. Yeah, I've stopped now. I've stopped going on any panel shows now that I'm invited onto. I find it tedious, Paul. I find it tedious. It's more about getting one over somebody else than it is actually discussing football. And it's silly. There's been panel shows I've gone on and people have gone, what did you think of Spurs? I'm like, yeah, we lost, but we were good. We were good. We were tough, but we didn't score. People go, oh yeah, but you're rubbish. You're in the mud. It's like, oh God, it's so boring. Like, I don't want to have those silly conversations anymore. Too many YouTube channels now, they're not talking about football enough. It's just talking about cooking, drama, popcorn. Honestly, I can't be bothered with it. So if people want some sensible football chat where we discuss the ins and outs, then here is where you'll find that. If you want cooking and drama, there are a million channels you can go and watch. Also this. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, I'd love to go on a hot chocolate panel show. My favorite hot chocolate, Ben, my 2 favorite hot chocolates. My first favorite hot chocolate is from Paul. Paul's Patisserie. Oh, that is beautiful. Second one is Cafe Nero. They do a banging hot chocolate. The one you gave me is absolutely lovely, by the way. So thank you for that. Yeah, but they're just getting worse and worse, mate. It's just getting worse and worse. Like, you go on these panel shows and let's discuss all the results from your teams. And there's no actual discussion on the game, how the game went, who played well. It's just purely about, gutted Wolfie, Forest lost. Gutted Savva, Spurs lost. Gutted, gutted Charlie, Chelsea lost. It's just all a bit like, I just don't care. It's all a bit silly. I just find it all a bit silly. Every time, every time you're on a panel show, and somebody mentions a player, if it's a player for another club, they're shit. If it's a player for your own team, they're brilliant. And I just find it all a bit silly. So, hey, anyway, getting to tonight's show. It's going to be very, very interesting to see the team lineup, not just from Spurs. Don't forget, it takes 2 to tango. It's going to be interesting to see what Newcastle do. But Newcastle, for me, I think they've got less injuries to contend with. So that's going to be interesting to see. And I think they've got more options, especially in the forward areas. They've got some options, haven't they? So look, I don't know what that means. Savva doesn't quote my comments. I'm bringing up lots of different comments. There's a lot of people in here. So we'll round off the Newcastle chat tonight. Last chance to get your score prediction in for later on, and we'll see what happens. School of thought. Do you keep playing Xavi Simons to get him into form? Do you rest him to take him out the firing line? Questions like that is what Thomas Frank and his coaching staff have to answer. And yeah, absolutely. Would you? Like, you would, others wouldn't. It's each to their own. But back to staying, Savva, let's be honest. The best talking point is, what delightful chocolate have you invested in for tonight's watch along? I haven't yet. I was going to walk to the shop, and I'm looking outside. I don't know if you guys can see, but don't know if that shows you, but it is absolutely. Can you see the rain? I'm not sure if you can see the rain. It is pissing down with rain. So I am going to do a little delivery. I'll get a little co-op delivery. I do like the curly whirly squirlies. Big fan of those. I've got a very sweet tooth. A very sweet tooth indeed. There's no U in his name, so it's Paulinia. Paulinia, not Paulinia. Paulinia. Gareth is going for Spurs on penalties. I'll take that all day, Gareth. You said to me, you're out in South Africa, right? Trying to remember where everyone's from. It's really difficult. Finn Rickwood, I've got a question to ask you. Did you start a LinkedIn account recently and start looking at my profile? Just checking. If not, somebody's parodying you. Yeah, listen, I'll take that all day long. Yeah, I'll take that all day long. Spurs to go through on penalties. I'll take a boring 0-0 and go through on penalties for sure. Savva, which one of those good players you named, Byron Maddison, who starts for a top 6 team? Name them. That wasn't the question, was it? Was the question who starts for a top 6 team? Or was the question that there are best players? Think about it. Think about it. I've done YouTube a long time. You won't catch me out, my man. You won't catch me out at all. No, no, no. El Del, so go for a run in the rain. Oh, God. Honestly, Jose, it's just disgusting here. Like, I opened the back door. One of my dogs went, nah. The other dog put his paw outside the back door and quickly pulled it back in and started licking his paw. He's like, nah, I'm not having that. So no, no. Let's do some super chats before we move on. I want to talk about, I'm seeing reports linking us with Greenwood and McTominay. Interesting discussion points. Before we do that, let's go to George. Thank you very much, George. Very nice. You lot are smashing the super stickers today. Very generous of you. We're on a super sticker train. Big up to you, George. Thank you very much. The Aussie Frank lover, always in it and always very generous to me. So big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. Don't forget, guys, I'll be live tonight at about 6:30, 6:45 for the watch along of Tottenham away at Newcastle in the League Cup. I believe it's on Sky and ITV tonight. Don't quote me, but I believe it's on both channels. Big up to you, Aussie Frank lover. Thank you very much. Andy Lester, my man. So big up, Savva. Thanks for all the top content. I try, mate. Unfortunately, people are going to see a lot more content, a lot more where it's just me on my own. I'm going solo. I'm a bit drained of all the other types of content at the moment. But big up to you, Andy, and congratulations again for the weekend, getting married. Big up to Rodney, my man Rodney Roberts. Big up, Savva. Simple 17th. Hell no, once was enough. Bang on, mate. I don't ever want to hear in the conversation, would you finish here to win it? Nope, I don't want to finish 17th. Because that means I'm watching my team lose every week nearly. Big up to you, Rodney. Thank you very much. Very generous. The Animal. Thank you, the Animal, who's been a member for 15 months now. 15 months. Okay, thank Finn. I've got your WhatsApp. Yeah, cheers, mate. I didn't think it was you. I saw the name and I went, oh, and then thought, no, that doesn't look like him. Love your content, Sav, and the watch-alongs. Well, we've got one tonight, haven't we? He said, you're a real one. Hope you collab with Lee Gunner soon. He said on stream last night, he's keen. Been a while. Yeah, to be fair, Lee has messaged me the last couple of days, to be fair. I got a lot of time for Lee. I just haven't been in. I've got a lot going on at the moment, by the way, guys. I've got a lot going on, so I'm going to be cutting a lot of shows. I've got a lot going on, but I've got to concentrate on my channel. So, big up. Yeah, listen, I love Lee. I'll stream with Lee. Have a real proper football chat with Lee. Big up to you, my man. Paul Langley with a super sticker. Thank you very much. Oh, we love a super sticker train. Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate that, my man. Hope you're well and you're not old. Eureka said we have 2 must-win games, Newcastle and Copenhagen. We can lose Chelsea and impact is minimal, other than some shriveled appendices in the fan base. But again, it all depends on who you ask, right? So you're saying this. Other people are saying, well, no, it's Chelsea and Copenhagen. Some people are saying, no, it's Copenhagen and Newcastle. Others are saying it's Newcastle and Chelsea. It's a difficult one, right? Some people are going, well, the league don't matter because we're not going to win it. Some people saying the Champions League don't matter because we're not going to win it. Some people saying, well, tonight is tough anyway with Newcastle away. There's no, you see, this is the problem, right? There's no right or wrong. And whatever Frank does, you see, right? Whatever he does, some portion of the fan base won't be happy. That's life, I guess. Thank you to whoever just subscribed as well. As we're 70 away from 23,500. So thank you very much. And big up to you, Eureka. Really appreciate that. And Rodney's come back in again. So big up again, Savva. Thank you, mate. 2 games I'd love to win this season. Liverpool and Chelsea away. It's been way too long since a win against them. Can we, you think? I guess it all depends. Listen, it's the same as anything in football, Rodney. It all depends on what's the situation on the day we play them. What are the injuries? What are the form? Who have they got out? What's their form like? Who have we played midweek? But it would be lovely, wouldn't it? Be lovely to beat Chelsea, Liverpool away. Well, let's start with, be lovely to beat Chelsea at home on Saturday, wouldn't it? Be lovely to beat Chelsea at home. By the way, if anyone cares, it's my birthday on Saturday. So for my birthday, I'm doing a watch along for Tottenham versus Chelsea and then going out to meet all my mates who are, get this, big up Rodney, thank you for that, by the way. Get this, Saturday is mine and my other mate's birthday. Actually, his was last week, but we always celebrate it the weekend of my one because it's the Halloween weekend, yada, yada, yada. But we are all going out. They're going out, right? They're going out at 2 p.m. and I'm having to meet them at about 8 p.m. because of Spurs. So my own birthday, I'm missing the first 6 hours of lunch and drinks and stuff. So anyway, my birthday's Saturday. Feel free to send me birthday cards. Actually, don't. I'm not giving any of you my address. So big up to each and every one of you. I'll be 21 again on Saturday. Yeah, listen. It's not about getting down. It's just about sometimes can I be bothered, you know. As I said, the content's not going to stop, but there's going to be a lot of my own content rather than panel shows and getting guests and stuff. So it is what it is. What phase is Savva in? Phase 12. No, I won't be on. No, I told Dan yesterday. I love Dan to bits. He's a superb content creator, really good friend of mine. I've told him that for the time being, I'm just dropping out that and Never a Foul as well. So I won't be on them for the time being. If we lose to Chelsea, we drop to 7th. Who cares? Well, again, I agree with you. Eureka. But again, there's nothing to say go strong tonight and we win and don't win Saturday. There's nothing to say the reverse. So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? There's no rule to it. There's no rule to say if we go full strength against Newcastle, we beat them, or if we go full strength against Chelsea, we beat them. Football's a humbler. It's a very funny game. We'll see, right? We'll see. Halloween related question. If you had to dress as our biggest horror signing ever, who are you going as? Oh, there's been many. I mean, you could go as Ndombele. You could go as, we've signed some terrible players down the years. We've signed some terrible players, but there's too many to mention. But yeah, no, we won't be dressing up, by the way, for my birthday. I don't do the whole dressing up thing. Ben has said, I hate doing non-fun panel shows. It's mostly sitting in silence for ages. And then when you try and get your point across, yeah, agreed. It's too much. I think the thing is for me, Ben, I've been doing this so long now that you learn over time what works for you, what doesn't, what you enjoy, what you don't. I think what people have got to understand as well, if you're going to go and sit on a panel show for 2 hours, you've got to enjoy it. You're not being paid for it, right? When I do my own show, right? When I do my own show, I mean, I can control the conversation, where it goes, what we talk about. I can bring up comments. We can have a good chat. When you go on panel shows and you talk very, intermittently, if you're sitting there for 2 hours, you have to ask yourself, what's the gain for me as it's, I don't know. Listen, each to their own. Some people do it for fun. When it's your job, it's slightly different, right? I just don't like the whole cooking thing. I just don't like the whole, let's cook him because he predicted wrong. Listen, all of us have predicted a million times things wrong. All of us have predicted a million times things right. That's football. No one gets it right. Right? All the time. Dude. All right, listen. Last chance. Please stop. All right, please stop. All right. I haven't brought in anything. We're talking about panel shows. Please stop, dude. Right. I'm seeing all your comments. Just stop. Everyone else is just talking football and having a laugh, and you're just going on and on and on. Please stop. I timed you out because you were relentless. Just stop. It's all you got to do. No, you don't really, mate. You don't really. If you go on enough persons, do you think if I go on Football's 12-man podcast that during that show I get any subscribers? It's not. By the way, it's nothing against Dan. Dan's the best panel show host there is out there. I truly believe that. Dan Potts does the best panel shows, but just for me, I'm just stepping away for a little bit. Absolutely. Imagine you got everything right? Imagine you got everything right. So when I do an ACCA for tonight's football, imagine I just knew everything, got everything right. I'd make thousands each week on betting and wouldn't need to do any work. But I think that, as I've said before, when you're a YouTuber, because your prediction is the one everyone remembers, everyone goes, ah. But so many in the chat get it wrong and no one says anything to them, but it is the way it was, right? It is what it is. Where are we? Very true. They're brilliant for new subscribers, for new creators. If you're a new creator and you rock up to a panel show that not many people know you, and you've got thousands in the chat, you're going to get a lot of subs. When people have known you for a while, they either like you or they don't, right? So it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on to a controversial subject. Spurs have been heavily linked this week, depending on the reports you read, with Mason Greenwood of Marseille. It's Marseille, isn't it? Why is my mind just gone? It's Marseille, isn't it? Who would take Mason Greenwood? Please keep the conversation football. Do you rate him as a player? Would he fit in? Would you take him? Would he cost a lot? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Interesting. I'm not going to labor on this point, by the way. I'm seeing a theme. Lots of people. Okay. Nope. Absolutely not. Nope. No. What a signing. Nope. No, thank you. Nope. Don't want him. Never. Okay. Interesting. I agree. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. But hey, when there's rumors, there's reports, and we talk about them, right? Listen, he is a good footballer, but agreed, without going into detail, is there too much baggage? And that's the question. Good footballer. I think he's better than what we've got in areas, but I guess this ultimately. I guess ultimately this is going to be down to, does Thomas Frank and the no dickhead policy. I don't know Mason Greenwood personally. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But the other player, I'd rather play you. I'd like to play there. I'd like to play for Tottenham Hotspur. Yes. And my salary will be a lot less than a lot of these other players, Ben. I promise you, I won't charge as much as some of these other players. By the way, only 150 likes. Let's smash that button. The other one is McTominay. Now, this is an interesting one. I like McTominay. I think every team needs a McTominay. I think this is the ultimate pro. Always fit, good engine, gets in the box, ball carrier, box to box, good tackling. I think McTominay is a very good player for any squad to have. What do you guys make of Scott McTominay? What do you guys make of him? An interesting one, isn't he? He's an interesting one. Is he that guy that you look at and say, this is going to be my ball-playing midfielder? This is going to be the guy that dictates games. Is he going to be the guy where you go, wow, this is amazing? No. Is he going to be a guy where you know what you're getting every single game? Yes. Is this going to be the guy that battles, that works hard, that fights for everything? Yes. Is he an upgrade on Bergvall, Gray and Sarr and Basuma? Yes. With that in mind, would you take him? Now, I don't know. Rumours. Come on, we all know. I'm not sitting here saying he's definitely coming. I'm just saying it's a rumour. I'd like him in our squad. I think he's somebody that you can depend on. I think that's somebody. I think that's somebody that if the manager puts his arm around, knows how to get the best out of him. And I think that's what we're seeing with Antonio Conte. I think Antonio Conte's got a very settled Napoli now, and McTominay's a big part of that. At Man United, I don't think that he was used correctly, and there's so much uncertainty there. And he's definitely an upgrade on most of our midfielders. I don't buy this at all. He's definitely better than Bergvall, Sarr, Graham, Basuma. So I'm sorry, when you're saying not an upgrade, he definitely is. Listen, for me, he's the sort of player that you can rotate in and out. I think he's the sort of player you can rotate in and out. Been watching him at Napoli. He looks very good. I think he looks very good. Are there better players? Sure. But I think he's one of those players. Who's better than him? Is Bergvall better than McTominay? Gray? Sarr? Basuma? I'm sorry, which one of those are better than him? Now, is he better than Paulinho? No, but he's a different position. Is he? I don't think he is at all. I don't think Sarr's a good footballer at all. I think he's a good athlete. I don't think he's a good footballer. No, not true. See, when you come out with silly things like this, I don't like the grass greener. By the way, not once have I said, oh my God, I 100% want McTominay. He's great. He's amazing. But he is better than a lot of what we've got. He is better than a lot of what we've got. Well, he's a different, but again, you don't watch football then. He's a different midfielder to Bentancur. He's more aligned with the Sarr and the Bergvall type player, but based on what? Based on what is Bergvall better? See, this is what our fans do. Based on what is Bergvall better than Scott McTominay? Based on what? I genuinely don't understand what I don't understand what anyone watches in Bergvall and keeps rating him above all of these senior pros that have been there, seen it, and done it. Scott, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. Like, I watch Bergvall, for example, and Sarr, and I go, yeah, you're all right. I haven't really seen a lot that I go, yeah, you've got a lot of really good quality. But any player you try and match against them. Now, that's a different question. Now, the one I'd love, Dan, I'd love Gallagher. If we're going to go in for that position, I'd love Gallagher. Right? I'd love Gallagher. Again, by the way, Dan, I know you know me. This was just no, but he's absolutely not the same as all our other midfielders. See, again, I don't think people watch games. I don't think people actually watch the games if you truly think that. McTominay does so much more. Now, again, I'm not saying he is leaving. We're just having a conversation. I think the problem is we think all our young players are so much better than they are. If you ask me right now, who do I want in the 11 out of Sarr, Gray, Bergvall, McTominay? McTominay all day long. All day long. For his running, for his passing, for his tackling. He gets in the box. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know what we're doing here. And from this season to last season, he's adapted as well. Last season, he was more ball carrying. This season, he's more passing. But again, you'd have to go and do your homework to see that. No, I'm not saying he's coming to us, by the way. I'm not saying he's coming to us. I didn't say he was, but I'd say he's better than Sarr and Bergvall, who are also not ball-playing midfielders, right? I think we need a lot in midfield. By the way, I think I'm just going to put you in a timeout if you keep saying silly things. It's not about grass is green. And unfortunately, guys and girls, when I said earlier that you can't have sensible football conversations, this is one of them. You can't have a sensible conversation. See, we talk about a couple of players and you get idiot comments like grass is greener. Greener than what? I'm just saying he's a better footballer than Bergvall and Sarr. I don't know why is that grass is greener. I don't think McTominay's a brilliant. I'd love much better than McTominay. I'm just talking about if the rumours were to be true. I don't know why we can't have sensible football conversations. I genuinely don't know why we can't. No, I genuinely don't know why we can't. I don't know why that's come up on my screen. 1 second. Oh, no, don't want that. Oh, no. I genuinely don't know why we can't. Look, I'm not sitting here. I've noticed that the childish Spurs fans always do this. You can't just have a conversation about two footballers, right? About two footballers. You can't without everyone thinking our players are amazing. Like you, Spurs, another one, right? Bergvall was wanted by Barca, sure, and he would be in the Barcelona B team. He wouldn't be in the Barcelona first team. Let me assure you of that. Hence why he joined Tottenham to get more minutes. Think about it. And I agree. Sarr, for me, I think games like Everton, to close them out, he's the perfect player for it. I agree. Completely agree with you, Dan. Right? I completely agree. This was purely just about if we sign McTominay. I know that nobody can stick to a conversation. I wasn't talking about, Jesus Christ. It's so difficult. Yeah. It's so difficult. Right? No, he said he came here for more minutes. He said that. Right? Stop this. Right? Do you really think that Bergvall gets games at Barcelona in front of Fermin Lopez, Pedri, Gavi, Diop? Do you truly believe that? Do you truly believe that? I just think that's mad. If anyone's watching Bergvall and thinks that he gets game time at Barcelona, it's absolutely madness. I agree, he is. He's an upgrade on them. I'm not saying I'd want him. I'm just saying I would take him over what we've got. That there's a difference, right? There's a lot of difference. I don't know what that means. Maybe you could fill out the rest of that sentence. Anyway. Basics. We have a first choice of Paulinho, Bentancur, and Simmons. Which would you replace with McTominay? Eureka, again, I know you're a child now because football is a squad game, right? Football is a squad game. It evolves. It moves on. Players come, players go. That's how it happens. You have to constantly do that. But Basuma could leave this summer, right? If he will be leaving, you've got to bring someone else in. Gray might go. Bergvall might go. Bentancur might go. None of us know. You have to rotate. It's not about a first. Again, how can I have these conversations, people, when I've got fans that don't understand football thinking that you only have three midfielders, can't possibly buy anyone else because who gets in the team? Think about that. Think about that, honestly. That's where our fan base is at. Think about it. It's utterly madness. Now, all I'm saying is, if McTominay came in, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think he's better than what we've got. However, none of you have heard me say he's in my top 10, 20 of who I'd want to sign. I just think it's funny. I just think it's so funny how people... Listen, I'd love this guy. Danny and I have championed this guy for years. For years. You're not a child, but you don't understand that you need more than three midfielders in a squad. Baffling. And exactly. Player of the season in Italy, Ballon d'Or nominee, scorer of beautiful goals, national team. I agree. I just think he wasn't used at United. You Spurs. Okay, so use your own logic then for Bergvall, Barca. Yeah, but he's not good enough to play for them. Think about it. You Spurs, you are one of these. I've noticed every day, if I say it's Wednesday, you say it's Thursday. You have not ever once said, yeah, I agree. Not once, right? Bergvall, I watch Barcelona. This boy does not get in the Barcelona team. He cannot pass like a Barcelona player. He would need to go into the Barcelona B, like they do with a lot of young players they sign, and then he would need to learn and improve, right? So stop this. This is mad. You know, when other fan bases take the piss out of our fan bases, because we are so within ourselves. We are so within ourselves. If anyone in here watches Barcelona's set of midfielders and watches Bergvall and says that boy would get game time at Barcelona, this boy we're talking about is struggling to start for Tottenham Hotspur, and we got fans who think he starts for Barcelona. It's utterly, utterly mental. And this, they wanted him so much that they didn't fight for him, right? Yeah, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, I haven't attacked anyone. But Eureka, the funny thing is this, is somebody, let's let this sink in, right? This person says, I can't have intelligent conversation. Their name is Eureka Johnson. They've got a picture of Eureka Johnson, right? Red flags, straight away red flags if they're a child. Then thinks that you don't need a squad, right? Then thinks that Bergvall and Sarr are better than McTominay, a guy that's just won Italian Player of the Year and was in the top 20 for the Ballon d'Or. Like, it's just crazy. Then has the audacity to talk about intelligence. I truly worry. All the Savva's takes are based on facts, though whilst I don't always agree, the bloke is right. Listen, I try and bring some factual stuff, right? The problem is, but when you've got people, right, first and foremost, I mean, you call yourself Eureka Johnson. It's sad. It's really sad. Really, really sad. Feel free to unsubscribe. As I said, I just want to have normal football conversation. And the moment I say McTominay's better than this player and that player, oh, the grass is always greener. No, the grass isn't always greener. I was literally just talking about the rumour of McTominay. Would I take him above Bergvall and Sarr? I absolutely would. That doesn't mean that in years to come, Bergvall won't be great or Sarr won't be great. At the moment, I am left whenever I watch Bergvall, I'll say it, I'm left very disappointed. I'm left very, very disappointed when I watch Bergvall. The way the Spurs fans talk about him, you would think he is absolutely superb. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, let's move. Again, there's no echo chamber. We want normal football conversation, you Spur. You keep saying silly things every day. It's silly things. Like, just be positive. It's so boring. So boring. I don't want an echo chamber, but I like it when people challenge properly, not saying silly things. Right? So when people use the phrase echo chamber, it's so silly. What that means is you want drama. Bergvall, Betton and Gray should not be first 11 for a squad. Okay, if Champions League big games. Yeah, I agree. I've not seen anything where I go, he's got to start tonight. And let's be fair, all last week, there was a lot of people. Bergvall's got to start with Monaco. Bergvall, he was atrocious. Listen, Bergvall for me, I say this every week. Yeah, I say this every week. I don't know how good Bergvall's going to become. None of us do. He's got some ability in there. For me, I don't see this. I think we've literally we've put him there on the pedestal. I watch him. He can't pass. His passing is really poor. He doesn't score. He doesn't assist. I'm asking, what does he do? He's rash in his tackle and gives away a lot of fouls. So I'm asking what he does. Right? So, Jack, exactly. If Bergvall was 25, no one would be going, what a good performance today. This is the problem. We do this with Archie Gray as well. I think I'm a little bit bored. I'm a little bit bored with how everyone, just because they put on a Spurs shirt, needs to be overrated. I just find it just a little bit silly. I find it just a little bit silly. By the way, Big up to my man, very generous. Someone's bought me a coffee. Thank you very much. George has bought me a coffee. So George and Smoky Boy have both bought me a coffee this morning. Really appreciate that. And he's just said happy birthday for Saturday. Thanks, bro. Still got 3 days to go, but I really appreciate you. And the older you get, birthdays kind of become a little bit less important. Yeah, George, I wasn't even saying I love him or anything. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like the way that these people went on, like that Eureka person, was that I've said, oh my God, Spurs must do everything we can to go and get McTominay. He must start every minute. No, I just think it's important to build a squad. I think it's really important to build a squad. And if you said to me, who's going to play this week in midfield, it's going to be McTominay or Bergvall. I want and this, I like this whole answer, right? Let's debunk a myth. God, Barcelona wanted him. Okay. Barcelona also signed Emerson Royale. Right? Let's debunk another myth. Right? When I said in the summer, I'd take Marcus Rashford on our left side as a forward. Don't want him. Don't want him. Not good enough. Barcelona took him. So when people use this as an argument, it's hilarious, isn't it? It's absolutely hilarious. It's like when I said in the summer, I'll take Harvey Elliott. Not good enough, but Liverpool took him. So we could do this with so many footballers, right? We could do this with so many things. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. Madueke. Do you want Madueke? No. Arsenal wanted him. They're a good club, aren't they? You know, you've just got to, you know, if I said Havertz, no, don't want Havertz, but Arsenal. So that whole, you know, this whole, well, they wanted him, he must be great. Sure. So no football club gets anything wrong. Barcelona have bought some really strange players over the years. They've bought some really, really strange players over the years. Ben, big up to you. Said Real Madrid signed Julian Faber. Clubs of course they get things wrong. Dan has said Spurs supporters ask for quality 68 million players, but then want kids and defend them with their life, want them to get more game time, complaining about buying players block. Absolutely. Dan, you know we're on the same page with this. I hate Levy and Enoch. They're shit. They don't buy better players. I want Archie Gray and Bergvall to start in midfield. Which one is it? Which one is it? It is what it is. Aaron said all players we are linked with are not good enough, but all our youngsters are right, but all our players are superstars. Aaron, this is absolutely where football fans are. Right now, if anyone here saw Tell, Odeberg, Gray, Bergvall, Richarlison playing for Fulham, not one person would go, get me that boy. They put on a Spurs shirt. And it's, oh, this is going to be the best young player. I've seen nothing from any of our young players right now that makes me go, oh, you are good. Decent. Nothing that makes me go, yeah, you should be starting game in, game out. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to be good players. It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean they won't do good things. Tonight, Bergvall might start and score. Great, brilliant, keep doing it. What our fans will do is go, Bergvall, oh my God, look at him. Oh, look at him. Archie Gray makes a 10-yard pass and everyone starts going, you know, should start for Spurs this weekend. Gray. What, above Bentancur and Paulinho? Yeah. Should be Gray. What are we doing here? Absolutely, Don. And you know how you know the answer to that is correct? Because no one wanted Odeberg when he was at Burnley. None of our fans were saying, do you know who we need? Odeberg. Dude, can you just stop? Mate, can you just stop? I'm just getting a little bit bored. I've given you a few chances now. Can you just stop? Yeah? Yeah, I like him. I like Ademola Lookman. I think Spurs regret not getting him or a player like him in the window. I agree. Very good footballer, Ademola Lookman. He really, really is a good footballer. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, I do. I like him. I think he's a good footballer. The Wiz said, how come such brilliant away from Savva and then not so at home? Are the players under more pressure from a full Tottenham stadium? I think it's different. I think it's different at home because this guy's got to go and he's so boring now. I think it's different because at home you're expected to come out and play a bit more. It's a bigger pitch. You're expected to be more expansive. But it's difficult, right? It's difficult. As I said, I don't think we've got the players to play the expansive way people want to at home. I think we've got the perfect players to play the way we have been away. That's only my opinion on it. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion on it. Big up to my man Ian JD, very generous. Says, because of Ange's lack of tactical training, players like Gray, Bergvall get 2 years with Frank, in my opinion. After that, we either keep or sell. Well, again, yeah, these players weren't coached. So, yeah, they are going to take time. I completely agree with you. I don't think we've been coaching young players properly for years at this football club. So, but listen, big up Ian. I completely agree. Then we decide if we keep or sell. I said, didn't I? For me, again, I think we missed a trick. A player right now, see, I said in the summer, I would have got someone like Conor Gallagher on loan and let Archie Gray go out on loan the other way, not to Atletico, to another club, so that someone like Archie Gray can get minutes every week under his belt. Yeah. But Jamie, I don't think many of our young players have performed well, though. And I don't think it's about bigging up young players. It's about bigging them up. It's saying he played well today. Our fans go, oh my God, he's generational. Oh my God, he's brilliant. They put him there. I don't think many of our young players have had many good games this season when I watched them, if we're going to be brutally honest. They've had decent games where people go, but they're young. But for me, whatever your age, you're in the first team at Tottenham Hotspur. You shouldn't be judged by, oh my God, you're 19. You should be judged by, you've been deemed good enough to be in the Tottenham first team. I'm going to judge you on that. I'm not going to judge you on age. I'm not going to judge you on age. If you're coming through the youth team, the academy, and you're getting 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, cool. Yeah, he's young, develop. These people were bought for the first team. The youngest player who plays very well for Spurs is Mickey. Mickey Van Aert, class act. Even he's, 24 now? Don't know if that's young anymore, my man. Where are we? So Kobe said, Benny, you cannot just blame Ange. I don't blame Ange for everything. I think the club's been run, if you listen to what I said, I think the club's been run poorly for years. Poor him, but we also gambled if we can get by with these young kids and it failed fair and square. We learned we needed more ready players. I'm not blaming Ange for everything at all. I didn't like him as a manager. I didn't rate him as a coach, but I don't blame him for everything at Tottenham Hotspur. It is what it is. The Workers' Reading Room says, I hate their young excuse. This isn't youth football. It's top flight. Bang on. Absolutely. This is the point that Danny and I keep making. This is the point we keep making. If they are playing in the youth team, the excuse is, yeah, they're young. Right? They're young. If it's the first team at Tottenham Hotspur, that's not an excuse. Oh, no, Dan, I get it, Dan. I was agreeing with you. That's the point. It's the point. It's not the young players playing well, is it? It's the senior pros. None of our players, including first team, have had a great game this season. Well, okay, fair odd defenders, but everything else is shite. Well, that's not true. I think Bentancur and Paulinho have had some great games. Kudus has had some great games. So that's not strictly true, is it? It is what it is. It is what it is. He's definitely in great form, isn't he? He's definitely in great form. He really is. And absolutely, if you're young and good enough, you play. Yeah. I don't understand this obsession. I've never known anything like it. There's this obsession with young players now. For me, if they make it, brilliant. It's lovely. It's a romantic fairy tale. The youngster comes through and makes it into the first team. But there seems to be such a thing about young players playing in the first team. If you are good enough, I want you in the first team. If you are not, you are not. Agreed. Grealish would have made such a difference to us. Agreed. Yeah, but there's a difference between buying younger players and young players. Just because the squad was aging doesn't mean you go and buy loads of 18, 19-year-olds. When Kane was 18, 19, we didn't want him and kept sending him on loan. Look at him now. Yeah, Kane is the anomaly. Sure. There's always going to be a story of a player like that. Doesn't mean every 18, 19-year-old is going to go that way, right? For what it's worth, I do think Bergvall, sure, why not? I'm not saying he won't be. I'm not saying he will be. I just think at the moment, I just think at the moment he gets hyped for doing not really a lot. I thought he was poor when he came on the other day against Everton. He just runs into people. I thought he was awful against Monaco. I don't remember too many games where I've gone, yeah, you're really good. Great header against West Ham. Sean said, do you remember Savva, we were worried if fhtv could work in a Frank system? But listen, he's proved absolutely how good he is, hasn't he? He is superb. Again, we have people who didn't want him. Yeah, we have people who didn't want Grealish, people who didn't want Akliosh, people who didn't want Lookman. Honestly, we have so many fans that don't know a footballer anymore. I mean, how many people were telling me they didn't want Akliosh because he played in the French league? Top young player. I say young, top player. Young, by the way, I don't mean kid. He's 23. Good age. He's a good age. But yeah, sure. I'm not saying he's bad every game. I'm just saying there's been too many games where I don't see that from him. No, I think Xavi will be absolutely fine. I think he needs time to settle. I think he'll be absolutely fine. Anger saying, if you had McTominay be your second best player at the club, no, he wouldn't be the second best player at the club. No, he wouldn't be the second best player, but he'd be very good for us, I think. Yeah, fair enough. You admit to it. There are, there are players I said when he was younger that Harry Kane won't make it, but he did. But again, think of the 99 you've said other than that, Paul, that you got right. Do you know what I mean? The ones that you get wrong are fewer and far between. Daniel, absolutely. The bar for good young players has dropped so low. We used to watch Owen and Rooney tearing. Yeah, agreed. On that note, guys, I am going to leave it there. I'm going to be back at either 6:30 or 7:15 tonight for Tottenham away at Newcastle. By the way, sorry to quickly, you are, Phil, but the thing is, so many are putting him on a pedestal. So many, and I don't know why. Listen, first of all, thank you to all those that aren't trolls, that don't have silly names of celebrities. Thank you for the likes, the super chats. Thank you very much, people who bought me a coffee. Really appreciate you all. Listen, I really do appreciate you all, apart from the silly people. Listen, much love. Take care. Actually, I should probably see who I can send you to. That would be the nice thing to do, wouldn't it? Let's see who's live. Let's see if anyone is live. Shall we? Customization. Redirect. Can't see. I don't think I can. Is anyone live? I don't think hardly anyone's live. I'm going to send you over to Hooks. He's with Wolfie. If you want to watch them, Hooks and Wolfie are doing a show together. If you get over there, just say Savva Raid or FHTV Raid. Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.